possibilities. That's what Creative Commons is about, you know, bringing possibilities to manage their own work, you know, to the creators, so that the songwriters, the theater play writers, the book writers, and so can have the possibilities to manage their own work and say and determine what the work will serve for.
We're here in the Time Warner building in New York, where the Personal Democracy Forum is taking place. Can you talk about your experience with Time Warner?
Well, when I decided to open some of my songs, you know, so that recombination and sharing and everything would be possible, made possible for other people. I had a no from my company. I am not Time Warner anymore. But then I was, and they wouldn't allow me to use the songs that they had recorded.
You wanted them to be able to be downloaded for free?
Not necessarily to be downloaded for free, but to be open for different uses, you know, cultural uses by different people. The way the licenses, the Creative Commons licenses allow people to, so that they could recombine, they could share, they could redo parts or wholes of the songs for cultural purposes, you know. And I couldn't use the pieces that I had recorded for Time Warner, and then I used some of the pieces that I had already recorded for myself, because my contract with them was ending by then, and I had started doing my own recordings and owning my own recordings, and some of them, and then I used some of that.
Gilberto Gil, do you see the way the music companies are cracking down on musicians and cracking down on access to music, calling it piracy, similar to food companies like Monsanto cracking down on farmers because they're claiming they're using their seeds in an unauthorized way?
Yeah, this is one of the things that we have to reconsider. I mean, the whole of the society, as I say, politicizing the new technologies so that we can discuss the uses, you know, and the restrictions, and how far the restrictions should go and should stay, and how open we should sort of get the whole system, you know, going. Because we need that. I mean, there are several social uses that we can have from pharmaceuticals and from intellectual goods and everything that need, I mean, openness to be considered, you know, so that, you know, the sharing, the access and everything could be permitted. So we have to reshape them in the whole legal framework, you know, internationally and locally, you know, country by country and internationally. And we're doing that. I mean, the Creative Commons project, for instance, you know, helps a lot this kind of advancement, so that the individuals, the creators themselves, they can start establishing which kind of use they want, you know, their works to have, and which they allow, which they don't allow the other people to do their works, but in Brazil, for instance, we are now launching a whole project of changing the authorial law in Brazil.
You're working with Lawrence Lessig?
With Lawrence?
With Lawrence Lessig.
Oh, definitely, yes, we are partners. He brought the Creative Commons project to Brazil. We helped them, we helped him and the whole group to find their ways in Brazil, to find the right people, to find the universities and the institutions that back them in Brazil. So we became close friends. We are working together, yeah.
How do you deal, Gilberto Gil, with the digital divide in Brazil? Who gets used to that?
That's one of the problems that we have. Because when we talk about universal access that the new technologies allow, it's theoretically okay, but in practice, we face the divides that we have in the society, you know. The excluded people, economically and socially excluded from the past, you know, from previous periods of history. And now, so to guarantee that we can universalize access, you know, to broadband, to computers, to digital facilities in general, we have to address the old divides that we have in the society. So we have to fight for inclusion, broad sense, not just digital inclusion. We have to still fight for educational inclusion, you know, social inclusion, you know, in general, economical inclusion. So it's something that will take us to a whole process of a struggle and fight against the odds of the system, you know, that have charged, you know, so hardly the Brazilian society. This government now in Brazil is trying to address those things, I mean, the social issues, so that we can have social democracy in the very large sense of the word.
Can you talk about race relations in Brazil? You're one of the first black ministers in the Brazilian government. You're one of the leaders of the black consciousness movement in Brazil.
We have in Brazil both, we have two things in Brazil. We have this general social, racial divide that we have here in the States, that we have everywhere because of slavery and the status, the humanized status that the slaves had, and abolition of slavery.